いいか、普段おちゃらけてんのは勝手だが、仮にもこの俺の上に立つ男がだらしねえ真似しやがったら、今度は俺がこの一味を抜けてやるぞ。
Hey my dear pirates, you are on channel, Straw Hat's One Piece Theories, and in today's video we're going to talk about the possibility that one of the members of the Straw Hats ends up leaving the crew for some reason. Throughout the journey of Luffy and his gang, several times we saw a member leave or not join our dear Luffy's team of pirates, and because of that, many wonder if there is still a possibility that in the future someone may leave or abandon the Straw Hats in the future. Is this a real possibility as many people believe it could be? Do you think anyone can really abandon Luffy in this final stretch of the One Piece anime? Well, we're going to analyze all this in today's video, so if you want to be a pirate king like me and achieve eternal glory, go ahead and press the like button with all the power of your devil fruit. And if you're new here my dear sailor, already subscribe to the channel and don't forget to activate the notifications bell so you don't miss any new video, okay? Then join this crew that will dominate the entire Grand Line and the New World. Now without further ado, let's get to this epic video. And well my dear pirate, after the frustrating ending of the Wano arc where we saw that Yamato ended up not joining the Straw Hat crew, where many believed it would be the perfect analogy for the crew of Roger, who was the king of the pirates, and Odin, who was the samurai of Wano and joined his crew, many people began to wonder if this would continue until the end of One Piece. If more interesting characters would cross paths with Luffy and his friends but wouldn't join them on this journey. Well, as I said in a previous video, I believe that Oda has already limited the number of members within Thousand Sunny in order to have a way for him to develop all of them in a way that doesn't get disproportionate, and even though that might be Oda's will, as we can see, more and more Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji are taking all the spotlight for themselves while the others are increasingly being left aside. Yes, there are a lot of characters to develop, and I know that the Monster Trio is indeed the main strength of the Straw Hats, but even so, I can understand anyone who complains about not seeing more development of characters like Nami and Usopp for example. That's why I think Oda has been limiting the number of characters that will accompany Luffy until the end so that he doesn't end up leaving aside even more characters that we love so much. That's why I believe that Yamato ended up not joining Luffy's gang. But taking a look at some comments or One Piece pages and groups, I realized that after Yamato didn't join Luffy's gang, many started to believe in the possibility that Oda ended up reducing the gang for some reason, whatever it may be. And stopping to think about it, that makes sense. For those who don't remember, there were several moments when the crew had to lose a member during its journey. The Straw Hat Pirates have fallen on hard times on more than one occasion, and despite being more than a family, they have had to lose several members, even temporarily. The Straw Hat Pirates have fallen on hard times on more than one occasion, and despite being more than a family, they have had to lose several members, even temporarily. First we have Nami, who is the navigator of the Straw Hat crew and one of the first 3 members of the crew. She joined the crew very early on in the story. Traveling with the crew to Baratai, Nami stole the Going Merry and left the crew. The reason behind this was her deal with Arlong, whereby she had to secure 100 million berries in cash to buy back Kokoyashi village from him. Now speaking of Vivi, she is the only crew member in One Piece who has left indefinitely to this day. Vivi officially became a member of the crew and together, they took down Crocodile and his organization in Alabasta. After the country's liberation, Vivi decided to stay behind and leave the crew in hopes of meeting up with them in the future and sailing the seas again. Chopper, on the other hand, had to forcibly leave the crew in the fight against Davy Back of the Foxy Pirates after the Straw Hat Pirates lost the first round, known as the Donut Race. To win him back, Sanji and Zoro had to win the next round, called the Groggy Ring, and they managed to do so despite only getting along for 10 seconds. Now talking about sad moments again, if the moment when Nami betrayed and abandoned Luffy, when Usopp, Robin and Sanji do something similar is surprising because we were used to seeing all of them together for a long time. In Water 7, unfortunately, the Going Merry was declared unfit to continue sailing, and Usopp's reluctance to let the ship go to rest led him to leave the crew in one piece. All of this fueled by his insecurity at not being powerful or useful to the crew and feeling inferior in terms of strength. Usopp fought against Luffy, lost and left the crew. After the events of Enies Lobby ended, he apologized to Luffy and was asked to rejoin the team once more. Now talking about Nico Robin. Robin was discovered by CP9 and asked to turn herself in as she could read the poneglyphs and could help the world government revive Pluton. Although Robin initially refused, she was forced to agree because if she hadn't, a very powerful attack would have been launched against the Straw Hat Pirate. To save their lives, Robin chose to go along with what CP9 said. Eventually, the Straw Hats chased her to Enies Lobby to bring her back. In a situation very similar to that of Nico Robin, Sanji had to leave the Straw Hat crew during the Zou arc in One Piece, where he received a wedding invitation from Big Mom. His biological father, then Smoke Judge, decided to marry him off to Pudding, the 35th daughter of the Charlotte family. Although Sanji never wanted to go through with the marriage, he was forced to do so by having explosive handcuffs placed on his hands that he used to cook for his friends and being threatened with the death of Zeph, who he considers to be his real father. Luffy went to Whole Cake Island to retrieve Sanji, however was beaten by him in return, just to save them from Big Mom since he couldn't leave, and to protect Zeph. When everything fell apart, Sanji looked for Luffy and returned to the crew. We can mention Jinbe who, although he definitely joined the Straw Hat gang a little later, although Jinbe was always considered a member even though he was far away, and Carrot who also participated in the gang for a short period. So, as we can see, there were several reasons for a member to leave the crew, and of the main members, only Brook, Frankie, Zoro still haven't left the crew, so if someone is going to leave the crew, it would have to be one of these. And of all, the only one who would have a big impact would be Zoro, because he already stated when Usopp decided to leave the gang that if Luffy didn't act like a true captain, then he would be the one to leave the gang for good. Of course Zoro could leave the crew for another reason, for solo training, or who knows, to go after a special sword that only he can fulfill this journey, but I still believe that at the height of the manga, I think the possibility of someone leading the gang for whatever reason is almost impossible. But now I want to know your opinion about everything we commented here today. Do you think there's any possibility of any member of the Straw Hats leaving the crew? And if so, which member might leave the crew and for what reason? But of course, if you made it this far, it's because you like the content, so it doesn't hurt to subscribe to our channel and become one more member of our fleet, my dear sailor. And of course, do not forget to press the like button, that helps a lot in spreading the video and the channel, so help us to become the largest fleet of pirates here on YouTube, okay? A big hug for everyone, and until the next video.